Good morning, everyone. Welcome into our Saturday morning coaches show. Don Julian with you here, and we've got a full house today. We have Jarad Hammack is on the set right now to talk about Wildcats baseball, and David Carrillo is out in the lobby waiting his turn, as well as Alexi Upton. David, of course, the Lady Cats softball coach, and Alexi, the Wildcats baseball coach. And we'll be getting to all of them today. But real quickly, let me dive into everything else. Powerlifting, the girls' state powerlifting meet is today. It's in Corpus Christi. And we have Michelle Allen, a freshman, and senior Chella Moya, former volleyball player coach, since Coach Hammack and Coach Carrillo volleyball coaches. And she'll be down there. And then next Saturday, David's son Ryan will be at the state meet, as well as Juan Hernandez and Matthew Mitchell, one of also not only a football player, but one of Coach Hammack's baseball players as well. In Wildcats tennis, they were in Waxahachie yesterday, and then this coming Friday they'll be in Pleasant Grove as they continue, all these teams working toward state tournament. And let's see, what else do we have? District previews for the golf teams on Monday. They'll be going back to a course that they've been just all over the last few months, a Tempest course over in Gladewater. That's the side of the district meet. And they'll have one more preview on that course on Monday, and then the district golf tournament will be the following Monday. Wildcats and Lady Cats track, they were in Lindale. Have an extensive online story. I hope it's posted by now. It may well be. When I checked earlier this morning, it was not, but I think those stories were being posted as I was checking. So anyway, Lindale yesterday, and then coming up next Friday in Paris. And that's everything else. So I kind of rushed through that because we want to get to the discussions and talking about Wildcat baseball. A tough night. As Coach Hammack has had a few when you go to Texas High, Coach. I got to thinking maybe a handful of wins over like 15 or 16 years. It's, you know, you're going to, the worst problem is that team in orange that you have to face, usually a good bunch, good coaches always, and so it's a tough assignment to go over there, and you have to play well, and came up short 6-1 last night.
Well, you're right. We've had some good competitive games over the years. I've known those guys a long time. I think we have a lot of mutual respect for one another, and they are always good. I can't think of a time they haven't made the playoffs in those 16 years, and it is a tough place to go play. I think it is for football. I just think it's a tough environment all over.
Yeah.
So you have to be at your best, and unfortunately, we were not at our best last night. We really did not compete, even from the first pitch. We get down 3-0 right away, and it just it was downhill from there. I've gotten to the point as I've gotten older, I've always hated to lose, but I can live with it if we just play well and they're just better, or they execute better. But I really can't think of much that we did well last night. And so, the errors that maybe in my mind, but don't get officially called an error, but things that we needed to do and didn't do. You can't do that against a quality team like that. They have 2 D1 signees for Texas Tech, and then a whole host of other really just good, solid players that'll probably play JUCO or other levels of baseball. And we just didn't show up, and that's ultimately our responsibility as coaches. And we have to do a better job and just kind of regroup. We're still in a good position. We're 2-1, but we can't play like that against anybody else in our district and expect to be successful. So we're going to have to go back to the drawing board on Monday and really have a good practice and try to get ready for our home game Tuesday against Marshall.
Yeah, and as bad as it was, and you look up there at about mid-ball game, and you're only down 4-1. You have a decent inning or something, and in this, your team has come back time and time again. Seemed like if they kind of hang in there, and so I kept looking for that, but it just wouldn't happen. And then, of course, that inning happens. I didn't give them a single hit, but I think your score did, and so I've I could understand where it was a play that baffles me. It kind of falls in the mental error category, where you have a player, a base doesn't get covered. And I guess I had the same thing in softball game, and I did score it as a hit. But this time I considered it a fielder's choice. But I can see how that has to be called a hit. You don't get anybody out. So.
Right, and I'm with you. I think it has to be more of a fielder's choice in my mind because it's just a simple ground ball to shortstop. It's 2 outs. So your infielders think they need to play as deep as they can to get some range, but at the same time, you have to play only deep enough that you can still make the plays that you have to, covering a base. You don't want your shortstop to have to throw across if he can get the simple play at second, but you got to get there. And then, of course, after that happened, I don't think they ended up scoring off of it, so it didn't hurt us this time. But just little things like that that you're talking about that we just didn't do right. We didn't execute the fundamentals of the game. And again, you can't do that in my mind really against anybody, but you certainly can't do it on somebody else's home field that is as good a team as we're going to play in district.
And of course, the only 2 hits, 1 run, so the bats were struggling. Pitchers walked 7. I mean, I think, well, it's early. But at the same time, most of the time through tournaments and that sort of thing, you kind of work your way through that. But it is a little bit of alarming, to issue 7 walks in a game. That's hard to overcome.
It's real alarming, and you're right. We're getting to a point where I think we can't keep saying it's early yet. I mean,
it's late.
It's late. We're in district play. You can't keep walking seven batters, and it's. And actually, that's fewer than we have done in some of these tournament games. We've put as many as 15 on base, and so we're just. But again, all we can do is keep working, keep trying to get better, because that is the main aspect that you have to be able to do. If you can't do anything else, we've got to have pitchers that can throw strikes, that'll compete on the mound, that'll give us a chance. Yes, you got to have a defense that'll play behind them, and we need to be able to score some runs, which this team seems to be able to do as well as any team we've had in the last few years. We can swing the bats. We didn't last night, as you said. We had 2 hits, 2 really good solid hits. We had a few chances in there with runners on base and just couldn't quite get it done. Their pitcher was, he was pretty good. He was throwing a lot of strikes, and his curveball seemed to be working pretty well, that he could throw it in different counts to where it kind of keep you off balance. But we're a better hitting team than we showed last night, and we're a better team, period, than what we showed last night. It was just kind of disconcerting that, this was a big moment, 2-0 teams. I really expected a lot more competitiveness out of our kids and out of our team, and it just wasn't there.
Absolutely. After extremely disappointing softball games, very similar to what you had last night, David Carrillo marched out and got his team, and they had a little ceremony, and they buried that softball. And I wonder if David ever went back and dug that thing up, knowing a good softball was over there. But it may still be buried over there somewhere between Lady Cat Park and over the railroad tracks or somewhere, wherever they had that little ceremony. But I'm saying that to say, let's bury this Texas High game. We've kind of talked about it now, and the kids are usually resilient. It's the coaches that kind of fret and worry about these things. A lot of times the players, their head's already, let's play the next one. And but before we get into the games this week, no Lindale game today. It's supposed to be at 1 o'clock at Wildcat Park, but that game canceled.
Correct. I don't know what made me. I was sitting in my desk at school yesterday, and just something hit me that I needed to check. And I ended up getting on Lindale's website and got on their schedule, and it didn't have us down. So then I went back. Did I make a mistake? So I went back and rechecked our text, the back and forth. But sure enough, we had set up tomorrow at 1 o'clock. So I text the head coach, who I've known for a while, and I said, do you have y'all down coming tomorrow? And, within 5 minutes, he just came back on with an apologetic text. Coach, I realized we were supposed to. I didn't put it down. Do you really need this? Because he was kind of insinuating like, please don't make us come. But I realized you could tell me you have this game down. And, of course, I let him off the hook. People make mistakes. And so We've played them twice already, but so it'd have been kind of nice to play a rubber match with them, see who could win the 2 out of 3 since we split. But it's one of those things that happens. Coaches have a lot going on, a lot of different facets to deal with, and he just made an honest mistake. And so, we're not going to play today, as you said, but we still have 3 really good Saturday matchups. Couple with McKinney North coming up down the stretch, and then I think we finish up with a Rowlett, a 6A school, on a Saturday as well. So you kind of want to get some more guys to be able to play on those Saturdays, some more pitchers to keep them hopefully competitive and fresh moving in as you expect to make the playoffs. You want to have everybody, everybody ready. So, it's a home game. You hate to lose a home game, but again, those things happen.
All right, let's look at the action this week. Interesting games coming up. You host Marshall on Tuesday, travel to Pine Tree on Friday. And what's Marshall like? I still remember a tremendous pitcher's duel a couple of years. It might have been Ryan Humphreys maybe, and a real good pitcher from Marshall. I think we beat them 1-0. It was just, really a tight pitcher's duel. So what's Marshall got this year?
Well, you know how I approach things in district over there. There's nobody that you overlook or that you think, this team's better than that team, even though you may think it, from a human standpoint. I just know that we have to worry about ourselves, and we have to get ready on Monday and have a great day of practice and just come out and play the game of baseball and execute the fundamentals. They're going to be competitive. I mean, if you just looked at their record, it's not anything special. Ours isn't either, as a whole. But I do think they won last night. Beat Pine Tree maybe 5-4, 4-3, something like that. So they picked up their first district win. So they're either 1-1 or 1-2 in district. And so again, I mean, it's a big week for us to where we just need to go out and play good baseball, and we're going to be fine. But again, we're not good enough to show up and not play good baseball and expect to beat either one of them. So it's in our hands. It's in our control. We just have to go out and perform and compete and, minimize our mistakes and take advantage of maybe the other team's mistakes. And, that's what we'll try to do.
We've seen some bright spots pop up with your team, so you got to feel like these guys can do it. It's just a matter of kind of putting it all together. And I know you still believe in them. I mean, you're disappointed, but at the same time, we've seen what they can do. They 3 games in a row, they won games and kind of had that flash in there, and that's that kind of spark you want to kind of like we've been in the past. We get on the roll and just start rolling.
Well, absolutely. I mean, we have beaten 2 really good teams in district already. Longview, again, another team that has a couple of D1 guys, really good hitters. And, we played them and competed and won that game. And then I thought we went over and dominated a pretty good Mount Pleasant team, and I really didn't know how good they might be until I saw their score against Hallsville from Thursday night. Hallsville beat them 5-4.
Wow.
So, and I think we faced their number 1 and number 2 because we got the number 1 out quick enough. So, it is there. You're right. We're capable of playing good baseball. We're capable of competing. We're capable of beating anybody, but we're also capable of looking like an average team, if we're just not fully engaged in competing and doing the things that it takes to be successful. So it's just one of those things. Sometimes now, even more so, I don't know, who's showing up or who's not, but we do still believe in them. We just have to fine-tune some things, and really fine-tuning in the past would have been offense. Well, fine-tuning this year seems to be on the defensive side with the pitching and the defensive play behind them, and so we're going to have to really focus on that because we're capable of scoring runs. There's no doubt about it. We've just got to now prevent people from scoring runs, which I know sounds simple, and particularly in the first inning. When we have had bad games through the tournaments, we give up multiple runs in the first inning, and we did so again last night. So we've got to figure out a way to get out of that first inning where the other team doesn't score a run, and usually that catapults us into some good things.
Coach, thank you so much. I appreciate your time today, and the youth. You've got a younger team, and like Javier Aguayo found out, playing like 5 sophomores and 5 freshmen, boy, they can look magnificent, and then they can have those days where you just wonder what's going on.
Right.
So a younger team for you, which you've got a lot of juniors on this team, so a bright future, but you gotta get them there, and sometimes the trip can be interesting. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
All right, that's the baseball report, and we'll be back with one of our guests. They're out there flipping, I think, to see who's next. So we'll see who comes in, and either have Alexi Upton or David Carrillo coming up right after this. And back here on Saturday Morning Coaches Show, and David Carrillo must have won the toss. He's next on the show here. Alexi going to have to work on his gambling skills. Of course, Carrillo's never been one to win too many coin tosses, but good to have David on the show. Softball team really clicking along. And big game with Texas High last night, Coach, and take care of them 9-1. They're not used to getting whipped around like that.
No, always when you go to Texas High, you always realize, man, it's always tough to win over there. Yeah. And knowing what we were going into, but I did feel like we have been playing well. We've been hitting the ball well, and of course, when you have Crimson pitching really well too, the odds are with you. And talking to him, they're a little down this year, and we were able to go over there and take advantage early, and then put some runs up. We put a bunch of runs up late in the game, and I was very pleased with the way that we're moving the ball around, being more team, and just getting together and just getting after it. And I think the main thing that we're doing really right now is just having fun, just going out there and enjoying every game and appreciating every moment that we're out there. Because with last year, you lost a whole year. Just being able to be out there playing again, it's just a blessing.
Well, your pitching, of course, a big story, but now your batters are beginning to leave the yard. I think Nyla Lindley hits a home run last night, and Jaden Harper did, the game before that.
Yes, Jaden's a little one, and she goes up there and smokes one out of there. She's got a lot of pop in her bat for a little girl, and Nyla, they had changed pitchers, and we were talking about. I said, hey, I don't know what you're gonna get with this one. She goes, if it's a strike, that first pitch, I'm fixing to smoke it, and yeah, she smoked it. She did what she told me she was going to do, and it definitely went flying out of there over the center field fence. And again, Nala's just a valuable person for our team, not only because of her leadership, but she does a lot of things well. She's just a great kid, great qualities about her that she's just a winner, all the way around. The thing that also that people don't realize too is she's an amazing base runner too. If she gets on, she's going to create all kinds of issues, and that's another one of her special talents. But she can do a lot of things well. I look for her to be able to play at the next level, and the thing about Nala is she can play anywhere really. And I think and she did kind of mess around pitching with us on the JV when she was very young as a freshman. So Nala can do a lot of things. She can play anywhere if you need her, and that's the thing. That's a great quality that Nala has. And again, just being a good person and being a great leader also helps out a lot. And she's been like that throughout the whole Sulphur Springs girls athletic program in every sport.
Well, I've told her before and thought it before. I like to watch her play volleyball. I like to watch her play basketball. But I think I told her as she was a guest on the show, I said, Nyla, in my mind, you are a softball player, because I have seen what she can do, and it's worth the price of admission to see that girl go from first to home on a double.
Oh, yes. She's very capable of doing that. And like I said, it's gone on for years. And, and even more now, I think she knows that this is her last go-around in high school, and this is her last sport in high school. And she has definitely turned it up a notch. And, I have a very good relationship with Nala. She's like, of course, like a daughter to me, like all of them are, but she's just a special kid because we've been around together for so much. And, again, it's great to see her have success that she's having this year.
You got to just kind of pinch yourself every day when you think about Crimson Bryant kind of showing up on your doorstep, and every game now that she goes out there, you begin to think no hit. I mean, she in best I can figure against I think J.J. Pierce was a perfect game. I couldn't find any hit batters, no walks. And it looked like up and down in order with the minimum number and tons of strikeouts every game. She has a no-hitter the other day against Mount Pleasant. Last night, one batter away from another no-hitter and leaves the yard.
Actually, it was going to be a one batter away from another perfect game. She was going to face,
goodness.
Yeah, and and the girl that hit it, she's good. She's going to Louisiana Lafayette, D1 girl, and she's one that I knew that was their big stick. She's the number 3 hole hitter, and they battled and just got one left a little flat, and she took advantage of it. But again, Crimson is the real deal, and I'm gonna say it. She's a very special kid because she's very blessed with talent, and God has gifted her so much, and I know God is going to take her to amazing places. But the thing that's also good about Crimson is her heart. She's just, I have her in the classroom. I get to deal with her all the time. She's been a godsend, not just like I said as a softball player, but as a person. I'm very blessed that I've got to get to run into her, and that's just part of God's plan. And again, I'm very thankful that she's part of our program. But it's more than just a softball thing. She's just an awesome kid, awesome person with an awesome heart.
Yeah, and a pretty good hitter too. She can swing that bat every once in a while and get you a hit.
Yeah,
so.
Crimson can hit it, and she got a big hit. Got a couple. I think she scored two-run RBI thing to open it up in the beginning, which was good, for her because it helps her out too. So again, she can hit the ball. She can do a lot of things. And pitching wise, I think what makes her so special is, of course, she's just has some God gifted ability, but she's also someone that doesn't get rattled. She's pretty much even killed the whole time. And that's what I think is another special quality that she has. A lot of things don't bother her. She just goes and does her job and takes care of business. And we are very blessed that she's part of our program.
And we saw the Longview game, and hits and runs were very, very hard to come by. I was very impressed that you had a discussion with Nyla Lindley and basically told her if that ball gets away from the catcher, take off. And I could kind of see that happening. I was watching the replay the other day because I knew that play was coming up. And sure enough, that ball gets loose, and Nyla just takes off. No hesitation, I got to go.
Nyla's a coach's dream because you could pretty much go over there and just say, Nyla, go do your thing, and I don't mess with her. Just go. Because when you have a horse, you let her run. And so that's what I do with Nyla. She has free reign at the plate if she wants to swing away, or she's a great bunter. She put the ball down and run. She does a lot. And I pretty much give her the green light on everything because it's a lot better if she can do it, and she has the ability to do that and see things instead of, because even if I'm telling her what to do, it still slows it down just a minute. She's got to be able to react. And again, look, when I told her, hey, if that ball goes anywhere, just go, that's reaction. And she saw it and went for it. But, again, I give her the green light on a lot of things because of the ability that she has, and she's able to execute those things. And, again, that's just a God-given ability.
And reference that Longview game because I know for a fact you were a little bit worried about, the hitting kind of picking up a little bit to support the pitching that you were getting. But it seemed like maybe as the weather gets a little warmer, the bats are kind of warming up a little bit for you.
Yeah, I think too. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not a big pitching machine guy, and I kind of get to it because it's hard to simulate, speed and timing. But after I think the Hallsville game, I just and I know the girls are happy, and they're going, yay, but I just kind of got away from it. And I just said, we're just going to, we're going to front toss, we're going to move balls in and out, we're going to work on hitting outside pitches, we're going to do tee work and just go back to the basics. And if I have to simulate it, I'll just scoot the screen up, And I in a weird way, I think that's kind of helped us in a way. It just changing, because what we were doing wasn't working. So you got to do something. And taking anything out or moving anything in, I think it just helps mentally for your kids. And, it's been working, so we're going to keep doing it. And, got some great advice. So that's what I was going to do. Somebody actually said, hey, why don't you take that machine away? And I'm thinking, yeah, you know what? That's probably a good idea. So that's what I started doing, and it has worked for us.
Yeah. And another device that coaches will use, and you certainly did against Longview, you turn to the bunting game and a little bit of small ball. Just put the ball in play. You got a hit because a player slapped the ball, just a routine grounder. It was very slowly hit to shortstop. But shortstop fills the ball flawlessly, puts it in the pocket because that runner's already at first base.
Yes, and towards the end of the game, the Hallsville game, the Longview game, we were not putting the ball in play. We were striking out, and I just decided, hey, you know what? Their corners weren't very agile. Let's just put the ball in play and see what happens. And I don't think we got a ball out of the infield, but we still scored the run. And I was going to figure out whatever way. I didn't care. We were bunting with 2 strikes or whatever, we were going to put the ball in play whatever way we could. And my job is to figure out how to score that run or get those runs going. In that game, that's what we had to do, and it worked out for us. And then we had the perfect girl at third base at that time to do what we needed to do.
Yeah, you keep putting that ball in play, and you put pressure on the other team. The ball begins to get thrown away, or we saw where they didn't cover first base, and or they dropped the ball at first, that kind of thing. You put the pressure on because you swing and a miss, and it's strike 3, and you're going back to the dugout.
Yes.
And nobody's very intimidated by that. But you start putting the ball in play and make people throwing it around, and things start happening.
Yeah, I've been doing this a long time. That's probably the first time I didn't care what they. We're bunting. We're bunting. Yeah. I don't care if you know it or not. Make a play, and that's what we just kind of did. Challenged them and tried to make them make plays, and they messed up one time. I mean, well, they messed up a few times, but I'm talking about to get that run in. That pass ball was the opportunity we needed to score.
Yeah. Absolutely. This week, same as Coach Hammack, you've got Marshall coming in to Lady Cat Park on Tuesday, then head to Pine Tree on Friday. So tell us about Marshall. Didn't they beat Longview?
Marshall, yes. Marshall's pretty good. I mean, they have a pitcher. The pitcher that was I mean, I know I always keep forgetting this COVID year and didn't win in the same district. But she did pitch against us as a freshman. She was very good. She's a senior now.
Oh, I remember her.
Yes,
yeah, I'd forgotten.
Yes, this is her senior year.
Wow.
But the same thing, she's a very good pitcher. But around her, I'm not sure offensively how strong they are. But I do know, they do have the good pitcher. So we're going to have to go to work. We got them at home, so I'm feeling good about that. But again, we're just going to have to find a way to manufacture some runs. But I'm feeling good about the way we're hitting, and I'm feeling good about the way we're moving the ball. Another kid I want to mention too that I is Addison Desmet. She's been doing well. She just came in my mind because she does put the ball in play, and she slapper. And she doesn't, she gets some slap hits, but a lot of her plays are just basically putting it on the ground and running and executing the things that we want to. Because I told them, of course, you got to have base runners and set the table so somebody can clear them off. And she's been doing well in district. She's been hitting the ball really well, and that's been a bright spot for us because I don't really think that she really realizes how well she's really doing, but she has been a great hitter for us this year too. So again, if we can continue to just create opportunities for us to score runs, we're going to be okay because I believe Crimson is, to me, she's one of the better pitchers in the district, from what I've seen so far. And I feel like that even if she misses a spot once in a while, she's so blessed with what she has that they still swing and miss, or they don't hit the ball hard on her.
Yeah, you talked about Addison. She was the player I was talking about, hit that ground ball, that roller to shortstop.
Yes.
And it was just a perfect slap hit that you see. We've had a lot of hitters like that. If the ball ever hit the ground, watch out, they're on first.
That's right.
And she kind of in that tradition. And that shortstop, I did think that shortstop was playing a little bit deep, and that didn't help her. But she fielded it as flawlessly as she could, came up on it, but just put it in your pocket because she's already at first base.
Yes, and a couple of things what's on my mind of last night's game. Addison Cadell, we got 3 hits last night. She's been moving the ball a little bit, but she kind of came out of that and getting hits and got 3 hits. Grace Magnuson had a good night at the plate too. So we had some players that were stepping up and getting after it. And I noticed the last few games that we've been moving the ball a little bit better. The Longview game was the worst game where I was just kind of really frustrated. And we went to this, but at least we know we have the ability to do that, to change our strategy if we have to in the middle of a game. In Hallsville, I thought we hit the ball well. We just hit it at them. So, it's just one of those things. But I do say this, and I talk to all the coaches all the time because we all pretty good friends. And whoever gets out of this district is definitely going to be ready to play in the playoffs because the pitching is very good. And I don't think, this is a district that I think will get you prepared for the playoffs because there's really not a lot of fluff. They're bringing it, and it's good pitching, and that's just what gets you. You want a competitive district like this, so that way you can be ready to play in the next level in the next season.
Well, we talked about the hitting challenges. We kind of glossed over the fact that you got 16 hits last night against Texas High. So those bats. Somebody described it one time as the bats were so hot they were juggling around in the batting rack. They were just so hot. So I can just see that. But their team was hitting the ball well.
Yes, and I think our girls are starting to, get confident. And you're right, the weather's better. I still look back at Allen. That was probably one of the most miserable times I had coaching on a Thursday when it was raining and really cold and nasty. And it just, the weather's, it kind of tricked me for a while there because I thought it was going to be cold. But at Texas High, it was nice. Sun was out and everything. And I should have wore shorts. But it was hot, nice night to play softball. Tuesday night against Mount Pleasant was a nice night to play softball. So hopefully it's changing a little bit where we can get some good weather and finish our season the way we hope to finish it. But again, I'm very pleased with the way we're playing, and we're truly blessed. Again, just to be out there playing again, and I'm just thankful for the opportunity to have the kids that I have playing for us because they're really great kids. I wouldn't trade none of them. They're just great kids, great people to be around. They make my job a whole lot easier just by being who they are.
I told that story about you burying that softball. Did you ever go dig that thing
No,
up?
it's actually still over there.
Still out there.
Still out there.
Still buried.
Still buried over there by the railroad
evil
tracks.
Softball.
Evil softball, yeah. I've done some crazy stuff, and that was one of them.
What year was that? That goes way back.
I think that was 07 or 08.
07, one of your first teams.
Yeah, that was a long walk up there with my shovel. We all took a journey, but it actually worked. So I don't know. You got to get those curses out any way you can. But
I've kind of skipped over this, but today is my 15th anniversary at KSST.
Oh my!
15 years ago, back in 06, I started at this station. Jarad Hammack was the baseball coach. You were not the softball coach yet, but by the summertime you were.
Yes, sir. I remember. I remember the first interview you had. I got whacked by a softball in the face.
Yeah,
by
and we were laughing about it. I said, boy, the girls are going to like this guy.
Yeah, she smacked me pretty good. I felt like I was going to get knocked out. Maury Lewis, I'll never forget it.
Yeah.
And she would say, oh, God, she thought she killed me. And I ain't going to lie, I wanted to tell her, yeah, I thought you killed me too, but I was trying not to scare her. I remember that.
Yeah, nice picture in the paper the other day, Maury Lewis and also Mac Morgan.
Yes.
So it was good, always good to see them, those kind of memories.
It's a family for us. I like seeing Maddie Millsap was at the Mount Pleasant game. And seeing those kids, or we all keep together on Facebook or it's just great that we have a bond like that. Because I always used to tell them when I first got here, I care about you here, but when you're done, I want to know what's happening with your lives. And I've been blessed with the kids that come back, and they love being around the program, or they want the program to be successful. And I tell them, it's just a big family deal. Like even if you're not here, you're still here. It doesn't matter. You're a part of it, and I think that's what's been helping us more. Because again, I don't put our things in wins or losses. I believe that we play for something more, and we're going to honor God, and we're going to honor God with our play, and that's what we're going to do. And He's going to bless us, and He has blessed us tremendously. Because first time I got here, we sat there and prayed, and I gave this program to God, and I said, "Take it where you want to take it, God." And amazing. It's been amazing for me in my spiritual growth, and I've hopefully had some spiritual growth with all the kids that I've been able to coach and be around.
We talked about your son, Ryan. We wish him the best of luck next Saturday at the state powerlifting meet.
Yeah, Ryan's doing well. He's working. I'll just tell a quick story. He had to lose 9 pounds in 3 days. And,
oh, my goodness.
Back to get to regionals, and he did it. I don't know how.
Wow.
Well, I know how, but I don't want to share that story. But anyways, he
too much information.
Too much information. But he did. He did what he had to do. I'll give Ryan some credit. When he said he's going to do something, he does it. And he ended up coming in first in regional. So Ryan's very headstrong. I'm very proud of him. He's a great kid. Great. I love my son so much, and I'm just thankful for him being able to. He does have a little drive in him, and the little things that when he wants to accomplish something that he can. So that was great for him. He said he was going to do it, and I tell you what, when he says he's going to do something, I pretty much believe him, because that's just the kind of kid he is. So again, he's looking forward to going to lifting over there next week.
We wish him the best. Also, we mentioned Juan Herrera, I believe it is. I believe that's right. And Matthew Mitchell.
Yes.
And Matthew Mitchell I think he and Ryan have kind of fed off each other. It's a good competition.
Yes. And I would say something about Matthew Mitchell. That's a great kid right there. I've got to kind of visit with him a little bit, and he's a great kid. And good heart. He's got a lot of great things fixing to happen for him. That young man is the real deal. Just being who he is and a good-hearted kid. So again, he's one of those kids that I just kind of happened to meet by chance, and I enjoy visiting with him. Where you can just tell he's got something for him going for him. He's going to do a lot of great things before he gets out of Sulphur Springs.
Good powerlifting out of Jesse and Ryan. No coincidence. Understand chips off the old block. David Carrillo, apparently a real good power lifter in high school.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and take credit for all that, but no.
Colleen Ellison,
yeah. So
an Ellison Eagle.
John Baseda. Yeah.
Well, it's good to talk to you, Coach, and best of luck throughout the season. I look forward to having you on many more times, and best of luck with the program.
Thank you.
All right, that's our softball report, and Alexi Upton has been very patient. And so we will hear from about boys soccer. And by district is all set up. If you haven't heard about that, we will tell you about it right after this. Back here on the Saturday Morning Coaches Show, mentioned a 15-year anniversary for me today on this very date of March 20th. And the first major sport that I covered here at KSST was boys soccer for Andy Holt. He was on a real nice run. Mm-hmm. Back when he could beat Mount Pleasant. He beat them once that year. I thought he had beaten them twice, but I talked to Coach Mayfield, and he corrected me and said that Andy had won one and he had won one, and then in the playoffs, I think it was a regional quarterfinal or something. Might have been even further than that, but anyway, it was a third or fourth game, and they ended up beating us on a windy day over in Greenville that I'll never forget. But that was the first thing, sports-wise. I mean, I also did my first softball game that week and my first baseball game. But I always remember initially all the excitement about boys soccer with Andy, and you've kept that going, Coach. Continue to make the playoffs and do it again this year. And let's go ahead and give the information. You'll be playing White House.
Yeah, White House, 6:30. Friday, it was the 26th. Good. It's going to be a fun game, fun time. It's at their stadium that's right between their middle school and their high school. Real nice stadium, Patrick Mahomes and all that good stuff. Go to that place. And, they'll be a really good team. They're 18-2-1 or something like that.
Yeah, quality record.
They have a really great record, and they're a solid team. We went and watched them last night play Tyler. They were very good. They were very skilled. Solid players all around the field. But we like our matchup, and we like where we're at and as a team, and we feel really confident about ourselves.
Yeah, well, going back to memory lane again, the first team that Andy played in that playoffs in 06 was White House. Mm-hmm. And we played over in Lindale, and I thought they were going to play all night. They had one of those kickoff things that's different than now. It's like the player starts out and everybody in the world is chasing them, and they have a certain amount of seconds to kick the ball and all that. And you have to, if you wait too long, you don't get the goal, and all kinds of weirdness. They've changed it now to where it's just PKs now when you get to that stage. But it kind of it reminds me again, it was White House. And as I looked at White House's record, the team that was number 2, I think, beat them twice. Mm-hmm. And they kind of slipped up. Mm-hmm. I mean, they beat that team twice. Mm-hmm. I think it was Lufkin. Mm-hmm. But they slipped up, maybe lost to Jacksonville, and somebody else beat them, I think, during the season. And they only beat Tyler the first time by 1 goal. And, again, you mentioned they did that again in the rematch. So, they've had some moments. Mm-hmm. Maybe they'll get overconfident. That's just a 4 seed from that district over there.
I was telling somebody, I was like, we're one of the most dangerous 4 seeds you'll ever meet, because we can play with anybody. We can compete with anybody. And when you can stay in games, you always give yourself a chance to go win the game. And like you said, they were the 1 seed, and they beat Lufkin both times to become the 1 seed, but they slipped to other people. They lost, I think it was 1-0 to Jacksonville and 2-1 to somebody else.
Yeah.
NAC. I think it was NAC.
Yeah. NAC was their number 3 team over there.
NAC was their number 3 team, So they've obviously slipped a little bit. They tied Mount Pleasant 0-0 earlier in the year. That kind of gives us a gauge of where we're at because we lost 1-0 to them both times. So, a real good gauge of kind of where we're at. Hey, we're right there. They're grabbable. Their best player got hurt at the very start of district. He had like 16, 17 goals. Guy up top, stud. Messed up his foot and broke his foot or something like that.
Oh my.
We saw him in a boot last night, just chilling on the sideline with all the players and the teammates. So, there's always a chance for you to go compete with somebody, and we're feeling really good about that. I think we match up person for person really well with them, and it's going to be a very good game.
We heard earlier on the show, David Carrillo was talking about the district and how it's going to prepare his team for the playoffs. My goodness, go back, all we have to do is reflect on the fact that when you send out ratings information in the preseason, Longview and Mount Pleasant both among the top 10 teams in our whole region, and that proved to be true. I think Longview, and I think you maybe alluded to that when you said, man, them being an 8 seed, they're better than that. Mm-hmm. That's crazy to have them down that low.
Yeah, when it came out, I think it was like Mount Pleasant 2 or 3, and then Longview 8, and I said, Longview is a 1 through 4 kind of team. I was like, they are no 8. So, the fact that you got, 2 guys in your district that are arguably the top 5 best in the region, it says a lot about your district. Like, it's crazy good. And then you got Pine Tree that was really great, 4 or 5 years ago. And now their whole second wave of kids that's coming in that are also really great is right now. They got a sophomore, junior class that is just loaded with, like, really good players, really solid players. Then their team as a whole is maybe not crazy great, but they've got 2 great classes of kids that are, like, just pushing their way through. So that's 3 good teams in the district that are really amazing. And then, we had to go all the way to PKs with Hallsville. They're one of a team, we played on their senior night, and they're a team that, they're just going to go give you 110. Maybe they're not the best soccer team, maybe they don't have the most skill, but they're going to go 110, and they're going to give you every bit of anything they have. Their kids were killing themselves to try to get into playoffs, and our guys were kind of looking around like, man, these guys are killing themselves. And we got a couple things to go our way. Ty Wynn did a really good job and made some PK saves, and that pushed us into playoffs. But we were inches away from being the other side. There was 2 moments in that PK shootout we missed, we go home. And then you look around and you're like, dang, we just wasted a whole year. Or you don't feel accomplished. And God was in our favor, and things went our way, and we got to celebrate after it. But it was inches the whole time. So I told, I was sitting in the lobby with Carrillo. He talked about how everybody's pitching's great, and he thinks it's going to be prepare them for playoffs. I think our district is amazing. I think our district will go at least 3-1 or 4-0. I think our district will beat that district, 100%. And that's not to be, cocky or arrogant or anything like that, but I just think, my assistants were sitting right next to me, Coach Ramirez and Coach Mejia. They were sitting right next to me when we were watching White House last night, and we said, like, this game's really not that intense. The energy in this game is not what our district games. They don't match the same energy, So I think our kids will be nice and prepared. Our kids have played at high levels. We've played really great teams. We've played Wiley East. We've played Highland Parks. We've played quality people. We've played really intense district games. So I think our kids will be very well prepared for their first round district game.
I remember a couple of years ago, Andy's Frisco Wakeland team barely made the playoffs. They were 4th in their district, and the players, they were a veteran group. They all got together and kind of said, okay, we've kind of been just goofing around, and if we want to keep the eyes on the prize, which for them was the state championship, we've got to turn this thing around. And so, and maybe I'm sure you're kind of telling the Wildcats some of the same thing, guys, and now's the time to give it your all. And you could tell in the last game that we saw that where they got beat. I think it was the Pine Tree game,
Pine Tree.
And they did like at the end of the season. They were hitting the turf, at the end, like the season was over. Just the devastation of the defeat. So we know they care. It's not like they're not caring out there. So they just got to put it all on the line now.
Yeah, I always tell a lot of coaches, they always ask what is our best thing about our kids, and I always say their ability to bounce back, and their ability to just go 110 till the end, because that's just what our kids do. That's what our kids do in every sport. But especially our guys, I feel like we never make the same mistake twice. We lost early in the year to Terrell, came back and killed them in their tournament final. We slip here, we finish it here. We learn from this mistake and we do better in this moment. So I think we're always really good at bouncing back from that kind of stuff. So it's it's going to be a really great moment for us. And I think we're way more prepared. My first year when we got here, and we were playing Jacksonville. We were very young. We were very not ready for that moment. We were kind of just, hey, we're glad to be here. Let's go give our best. Now we're experienced. All those guys, all these seniors that we had this year were in that moment.
Mm-hmm.
So everybody's got a good view of, hey, this is what a playoff atmosphere is like. And yes, we do have a lot of younger guys that have never been in that moment yet because they didn't get to experience it last year with COVID. But this year, I think we'll be very more prepared to go get at the team we're going against rather than just be there. You know what I'm saying? And so I'm very excited about that. And, like you said, 4th place Wakeland, 4th place Silver Springs, and I like where we're at in the bracket. Got a glimpse at the bracket, at the start of last week. And, when we, if we could hypothetically win, we play Red Oak West Mesquite. We played West Mesquite to a 0-0 tie at the start of the year.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen Red Oak already, so I like where we're at, and I think that if we can take care of our business, that we can make our way through the bracket. So I'm very excited for us going forward.
Another thing you look for now is kind of the seniors to step up in really leadership roles and and kind of tell the younger guys, look, we've got to play at a certain level. We can't make the mistakes we've made before. And you see those seniors kind of rising to the occasion, and this is their time now.
Yeah, I mean, more the latter of what you said than what the first one you said. Not just the leadership and saying, hey, y'all need to be at this standard, but seeing those guys take it to that standard.
Yeah.
That's in our group. That's what I want to see. I want to see our Omar Hernandez's, our Alejandro Diostados, Bryant Sanchez. I want to see those kind of guys say, hey, this is the standard. Like, step on the field with this standard, or don't even step on the field. So that's what we're really excited to see. And I think those guys always rise to the occasion. So I'm very excited about it.
How did you end up having to go to White House? Was it a home and home flip kind of situation?
I don't really know the whole story, but somehow there became a vote on that some people wanted to host, and so somehow there became a vote of like, if you're a 1-2 seed, you get to host. Me and Coach Aguayo voted no. We didn't want no business in that, because why do you want to drive to Huntsville 3.5 hours, or vice versa? Why does Huntsville want to drive to Sulphur? Why do you want to drive to Lufkin? Why would Lufkin want to drive to us? What if it was on a Thursday? Are you really gonna drive 3.5 hours and make your kids go to school the next day with 2 hours, 3 hours of sleep? So it's just, it's crazy in my mind, but apparently it got more yes votes than no votes. So, the first 2 guys will host. So Mount Pleasant and Longview in our district will host. White House and Lufkin will host, and then everybody goes to wherever they need to go. So it is what it is, but White House isn't too far, and, we're really grateful that we got them instead of Lufkin. Did not want to go to Lufkin, but, it's a close game, and we'll be excited for that. We'll be ready.
And it's made a lot better than the old days where you had to travel around that loop in Tyler, which is full of lights and traffic. Now they've got that wonderful toll road or something, and now they've extended it where you don't even have to go through Lindale, so you can jump on it early and just whip, and next thing you know, you're at White House. It makes it a much more doable trip. It used to be just kind of real drudgery, to get over there and to have to go, all the way through Tyler and all that kind of stuff. But now you kind of go around it, and so makes it a little bit better to head over there. But maybe you catch these guys a little overconfident. Sulphur Springs, number 4 seed. I think they beat. You mentioned the tie with Mount Pleasant. I think they beat Pine Tree once or twice. So they, and maybe Hallsville, I think they played them too.
Played them really close, Hallsville 2-1,
Yeah, so they've seen the district, and so maybe we'll catch them a little bit overconfident, perhaps.
I think in my 3 years, I don't think anybody ever comes to us overconfident because they know that we're quality, and they know we'll give 110%. But I do think that they're going to feel comfortable. I think that they're going to feel comfortable about where they're at. They get to host. They're going to feel good about where they're at. They just won their district. They don't really have as much turnaround time as we've had. They just win their district, and then they're going to go get into a game. So I don't think they're going to do as much preparation, really, as we're doing. So I think that will work in our favor. I don't think they're going to be preparing as much as we have. We're doing a ton of preparing. We spent a week and a half, and, arguably, before Hallsville, we were also doing preparing. So we've done a lot of preparing, and I think we're going to be ready for the moment, so I'm very excited.
Warm-up game for you, or you?
No,
you like practice,
yeah,
right?
we're maxed on our games. You know, I had about 3 or 4.
Okay.
Yeah, I had about 3 or 4 people text me, and I said, "Dude, I would love to, but I can't because I'm already full." So I had Anna, I had North Mesquite, I had Community, I had somebody else, and
Yeah.
I was just like, "No, guys, sorry, I can't. You know, I'm already full." So yeah, you know, maybe next year I might keep that in the back pocket because, you know, I didn't. Well, you know, this was the weird COVID year where we had all this extra time kind of towards the end that was supposed to be for, you know, makeups and things like that. I usually don't. I usually get all my games because that doesn't happen. You know, usually it's you play on a Friday and then bang, you're into playoffs the next week or something like that. So I don't know. We'll play it by ear next year and see how that goes. But
Well, a lot of coaches appreciate the practice time and spend,
do.
you know, someone like Coach Cipolletta, he worships, I shouldn't say that, he loves practice and loves the whole experience of that. That's his favorite moments, I think, of coaching the whole team. So a lot of coaches feel like, hey, give me a practice and I can get a lot accomplished.
Yeah.
Warm-up game, of course, everybody worries about an injury to a key player and all that kind of stuff. You just never know. Yeah, it kind of keeps you sharp and that sort of thing, but a lot of coaches would just soon practice.
yeah, I mean, we need the practice because, you know, we are always trying new things. We're always working on a different corner or a different set piece or things like that. And, you know, repetition and those things is when the repetition and that kind of stuff can win you a game, you know, because you do a free kick set perfectly right, or you get something off a corner, you know, you're 1-0 up, or you just won the game 2-1, or, you know, I mean, you know, those moments are crucial. So, you know, for us to be able to kind of get some more time to practice those kind of things is really important. And like you said, you know, I'm a big game guy too. You know, I want to be sharp, sharp, sharp. We use every game. I get 3 tournaments where I can play a semi and a final. You know, I'm big on games. You know, I'm really big on games. But at the same time, you know, I don't want to play something so meaningless right before something so important. You know what I mean? So I'd rather take my games at the start of the year and then just kind of, you know, practice it out until you have to play something big. So.
Yeah, Coach Chapman had a warm-up game one time, and it turned into such a battle that he felt like his team had nothing when they played John Tyler or somebody on Monday and had nothing left. And he told me, no more warm-up games for my team ever. And, you know, that's all it takes. You know, I think they went into overtime with Emory Raines or somebody like that, and it's just a brutal battle. It just left them with nothing left. So, you know, some coaches like them, some don't, and just kind of personal preference. But you need practice time. You're turned into such a sneaky person on those free kicks. You can put 3 guys over there, and you never know who's live and who's not, who's going to kick the ball and who's not. So you got to work on that stuff.
We've been working on that kind of stuff. We look for clips. We look for Twitter. We look for YouTube. We look for all sorts of stuff because we always want to try a different one, and we want to see which ones are successful and which ones work. And, you know, so they're good, and, you know, we're really excited about it. And we're just ready to go get after it. You know, we really like where we're at. Like I said, we like where we're at on the table, and we like our first round matchup. And so, you know, I got a group of guys that, you know, they're hungry and they want to work, and, you know, they've slipped a little bit. You know, they haven't executed and finished some games, but they're always a team that we can play with anybody. And if we take that one step that we're supposed to take, we can beat anybody. So very excited.
Very disappointed for your senior-laden team last year that did not get to play. So kind of for those guys and plus the current seniors and everybody on the team, just hoping that, you know, kind of just enjoy the opportunity to get out there and a nice run would be very, very nice. And it all starts coming up at White House again Friday, 6:30 p.m. At the White House Stadium over there, which I remember when that was brand new after they renovated and everything like that. And we played football over there. We used to play over there every year, and we have not played them in seemed like 5-6 years now, but we used to play them every year after Coach Owens got here. But we still remember how to get over there, and so nice facilities over there in White House. And best of luck, Coach, and as you move into the playoffs.
Thank you.
All right, that's Alexi Upton. That's our show for today. I think we got one more break, don't we, Doug?
Yes.
We do?
Yes.
Okay, let's take one more break, and I'll be back to wrap it up right after this. And that's all for today. Boy, what a wonderful show with Coach Jarad Hammack, David Carrillo, and also Alexi Upton. And once again, that soccer game, it'll be by district against White House. We'll be at White House Friday, 6:30 p.m. And then, of course, the baseball and softball, Marshall coming in for baseball and softball, and then both of those teams traveling on Friday to Pine Tree. So, and then a lot of other things going on that we mentioned at the top of the show. Thank you for joining us on this Saturday morning. I'm Don Julian, and so long, everybody.